Hi, everyone. Welcome to Midlife Uprising. I'm so excited about this presentation. This presentation right now is all about how, all of us have a little bit of a heartbroken artist within us. I think so anyway. And we're going to explore right now how we can let loose our inner child hooligan, not my phrase. This is Nina Hart's phrase, who I'm going to be introducing you to shortly. We're going to let our inner child hooligan out to play. So many people, I hear them tell me that they're not creative. But I really believe that creativity just comes in so many forms. It's not always about writing or drawing or painting or performing. It's in it's living. There's creativity involved in living in whatever you do, and really, like, it's just never too late to release your creativity. It's in you. So that being said, I'm so excited to introduce you to our guest, Nina Hart. She is a writer, a performer, and a Kaizen Muse creativity coach. Did I say that right, Nina?
Yes.
Awesome. She is also a gateless method writing teacher, and that's a method of teaching the art and craft of writing that allows teachers to access, or that allows writers to access the creative genius inside. I've done a few writing prompts with Nina in the past, and it's amazing how she does this. Her book of short fictions called Somewhere in a Town You Never Knew Existed Somewhere was selected as a finalist in Forward Review's Indie Fab Book of the Year Awards. She's the founder of a unique method of teaching writing called Writing from the Top of Your Head, which combines the creativity coaching with creative writing. So we're going to be doing a writing prompt, so be sure to grab a piece of paper. You may have already downloaded the worksheet, which is awesome. If you haven't yet, be sure to do that after this session because there's a couple of bonus writing prompts there as well for you to play with afterwards. So thank you so much for joining us, Nina. I'm just so excited to talk to you about tapping into our creativity at any age. Is there anything that you would like to add that I didn't include in your introduction?
No, except that I just really enjoy spending time with Yvonne. I was on your podcast, and you are one of the most creative people I know. And I love the work that you're doing in the world. So thank you for having me.
Oh my gosh, thank you for being here. That's really sweet. So Nina, I mean you I think you coined the term heartbroken artist, kind of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I believe a person I was collaborating with, we had a group forum here in Asheville called Asheville Art Church that we would have on Sunday mornings. And it was just a bunch of people wandering in, and instead of going to church, they would come and make art. And my friend Sarah did it with me. And I think one day she said, "This is like a sanctuary for the heartbroken artist." You know, like, how
Gotcha.
people wander into churches because they have heartbreak and or temples or mosques, whatever, they go to heal. So it was like a healing Sunday morning service for all of the heartbroken artists out there. And there are so many. So that's where that term came from. And I
Yeah.
stuck with it. Yeah.
How I know that heartbroken artist was in you. I mean, based on the conversations that we've had over time, how did you go about healing that heartbroken artist within you?
Yeah. I feel like it was like the first step in AA, like admitting that you have heartbreak. um, I think I carried around the heartbreak because I've been an artist my whole life, but I didn't know that I was pretending that it wasn't vulnerable. I didn't know I was pretending that, I was stronger than I felt, or, there were so many times where I experienced heartbreak in academic settings in school, in creative settings. I was a dancer and a musician and always a writer. And I just felt like the what we call the cult of criticism was very apparent in all of those educational settings. And I think I was like trying to work my way around it, but it wasn't feeling good. And I think I admitted to having like the actual heartbreak a, a while ago when I lived in Seattle and I was trying to take writing classes and I would leave crying and I just stopped everything and decided to like unlearn all of the crap that was put on art and myself. And my own inner critic was like having a field day with everything I did. And so I had to learn to unwind that myself. And that's where I kind of like rose like a little phoenix again out of the ashes of my own heartbreak and rebuilt myself. And that's like the core of how I teach now.
Yeah. And it makes me think, I mean, knowing a little bit about your story, I remember you talking about seeing the flyer for a writing workshop after you had kind of withdrawn and then deciding to go check that out, which I think is very brave of you to step back into it because who knows what you were going back into, right?
Yeah.
But something led you there, and it and you were like you know you just mentioned what you're doing there and what you were doing in Asheville is providing this Sunday morning thing, and now you've turned around and you're providing it the same way. Maybe I should back up. Tell the story of how you found that writing workshop. I got ahead of myself.
No, you did great. This is a creative process between us, you know, when we talk like this. So I love, like, we don't know what's going to happen, right?
Right.
So, yeah. So, that is a really good question because it was a formative moment where I was like, do I step back off the cliff again and into a little more visibility and, you know, putting this kind of vulnerable, heartbroken artist back out there when there was so much fear? But I think that I intuitively knew, like, I looked at the crumpled flyer and, you know, it was in this very musty old bookstore in Seattle. And it basically just said, it just seemed so informal and lacking in any, like, we teach you this kind of like formal sort of rules of how to behave as a writer. And when I walked in, when I followed my intuition and walked in, like that night, I sat around a table of elders, I'd say, elderly people. Marilyn was one of them. She was the leader of the group, a former English teacher, and she had no cares about what anyone thought about her writing. And she was writing like these kind of sexual noir pieces. It was like, you go, Marilyn. Like it was
Right.
awesome,
Go
right?
Maryland.
Oh, Marilyn. Yeah. And there were other people just writing from their lives, or we just did these like crappy little writing prompts. She was, you know, she came up, they weren't crappy, they were like mystical or something. They had magic in them because they were so quirky. And I just started letting myself, like in those 10-minute timed writes, and we just read, no feedback, no critique, just like, yay. And something started coming through because there was no judgment, there was no situation of academic standards. And I felt the top of my head open. Like that's the weirdest thing to say, but Emily Dickinson, she said, it should feel like the top of your head is off. That is poetry. And
I love that.
I know, Emily, right? So I felt like I was just no longer fighting to need, here, I'll give you some, that's not going to help.
I'm gonna have to pause this. This happened to me yesterday too.
Oh, darn it.
Ooh, sinuses.
Yeah,
Hello.
post-nasal drip.
Yep. Sorry to blow my nose right now, but
No, no, please take your time.
oh, sorry about that.
No, it's fine.
Oh my goodness
Need
gracious.
more time? You need to like get some hot water.
Mm.
I hate that. Or do you need to like go cough in the other room?
No, I think now that I blew my nose and had a drink of water, I think I'm going to be
Okay.
okay. I hope.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Whew. All right. So, do you want to go back to Emily Dickinson?
Should I say the quote again, or should I just like start saying what I was saying following that?
Yeah. So right out. So you had
I
just
was,
what led you into it was you said you felt like the top of your head had blown out. It's always weird because I've never edited video before.
oh,
So when you edit video, it's we're gonna have like a little jump.
yeah.
It's gonna have to be fine.
And I
Okay.
like human moment of like how you were coughing, and
I
I
might keep,
thought
maybe
that
I'll
was
keep that
funny.
in.
Yeah.
So I'll just say, and we're back after that brief coughing interlude. We're back.
Yeah.
So let me just say that, and then you can roll right into it. All right, and after that brief coughing interlude, we're back. So Nina, you were talking about having that sensation of the top of your head coming off as you were writing, and I love that quote from Emily Dickinson.
Yeah.
So then what happened?
I felt like all of these images and sounds and words and scents and, taste, all of my senses like opened up, and I wasn't filtering them anymore. I was just letting them come through me, through my creative filters, out my hand, into the pen, onto the page. And all of these quirky little short stories started just pouring through my head. And I was like, I'm not going to block this. Like, I started really trusting my own imagination. I would say and that's what children do, like they're not going, oh, darn, I just said that sentence wrong, or why,
Right, yeah.
you know, they might want to
I
talk
made
about the
that mud pie wrong, or oh dang, that voice of that puppet was wrong. Wait, there's none of that.
right,
Right?
right.
So, what would you recommend to somebody who maybe has that blockage? What can somebody do to get past it?
Yeah. Yeah. So I would say more and more learn to engage in play. Um, I think creativity, people think of, oh my gosh, instantly I have to be good. Like there are all these expectations, and engaging in play, like, bypasses all of that conditioning. And we enter back into the moment. We allow our child to run the show instead of our, adult who's just trying to keep us safe. But creativity doesn't really want to be safe. It doesn't want to be controlled. And I would say to start lowering your expectations, play, and you were going to have me do a writing prompt today, which is called small and crappy. And small and crappy is a term that Jill Badonsky coined. She's the founder of Kaizen Muse Creativity Coaching. And she's like, keep it small and crappy. And we were all like, what does that mean? Oh my God, we have to be bad. Yeah, like what's wrong with actually trying to be bad at something, actually consciously trying to be bad? So I would say, like, however, you can start engaging in bad play, bad improv, bad storytelling, bad life, like
I
that.
have one to share with you there as an actor with my background in acting.
Yeah.
I wish I had found this teacher far earlier in my career, but Seth Barish of the Barrow Group in New York City is an amazing teacher. And and he has a book, like 99 tools for actors or something like that. And this is something like they've got like a 12-week immersion process, and so you learn all these tools that he's got that you can then draw on as you're going through a process, a rehearsal process. One of those tools is called big bad actor. So instead of small and crappy, we're big and bad, right?
Oh,
And
I
the
love that.
whole idea is to just bust through. As an actor, sometimes it's more protective to stay small and try to, you know, and sometimes you just need to be big and bad and and do all the things that are like literally going way over the top, and it's so freeing to do that exercise when that kind of self, sometimes as actors, I would find, you find yourself, and I would find myself judging in the middle of a scene, and there's no way you're delivering anything watchable for anybody if you're editing yourself and commenting on your own performance in your head. And so what it does is short circuit that, you know, and then you can tap into that later. It's an interesting experience.
I love that you have that in your bones, as an actor, like that experience, because it keeps you an actor who's in the moment, who has learned to do that. And I love that big, what is it, big and bad?
Big bad actor, I think, is the name of the tool.
I can barely say that, but I love that. I like it more than small and crappy, actually. I think I'm going to start crediting, I don't
But
know, I want to read that
I
book.
think I love that. But then another like when I was learning to write a speech, the coach that I had for that had us do a shitty first draft.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and there is small and crappy, big and bad, you know, shitty first time. It's like all that just takes all the expectation of having to be good out of the equation, and then
Right.
all of a sudden things can flow. It's so cool.
So true. So cool. And, there's brain science now that backs that up. Like the part of our brain that is in judgment and fear, that's a part that we need. But when we are in the wild, generative, creative process, we don't need that part of our brain to be online. Like we need to be in that space that you were just saying that is created when we are allowing for not having to be good. And
Yeah.
our whole lives, like I gave this exercise, the prompt to sixth graders, and they were like, oh my God, you're asking us to be bad. Like all our lives, everyone's just telling us how to be good, how to do it right. We're in school, like do it better, and like to give them permission to be bad at something. Like not only does that allow like for growth, because that's like growth mindset, but also it allows them to like take all that pressure off.
Yeah,
And
didn't you? I remember you talking about this on the Twisting the Plot podcast episode that you did with Cecilia and Hannah, who are also speaking for this summit. And I loved the story you told about the one young boy. Can you give
yeah,
us that story again, real quick?
yeah. And I think this relates to someone of any age, because this kind of block is in our culture where we feel we can't do something creative, coming back to the theme here. So the teacher told me in advance, she was like, this particular little boy has a lot of writing blocks, like he can't write. So just know that about him. He might have a hard time. But he sat himself in the front row of my class, and he had his little papers, loose leaf papers out, and he was watching me. And like the first exercise I gave was this small and crappy thing. And I swear he came alive, like his face. When I said, write as badly as possible, he was like, oh my God, I get to be a troublemaker. I get to be, bad. It's like, so he started writing just madly on these sheets of paper. And when one was done, he'd turn it over, drawn, right on the back, and then throw it in the air. And he did it, it was like a 5-minute prompt exercise. I think there were like 10 pages that he had written. And then he picked them up and he read some of the stuff he had written, and it was amazing.
Wow. I just have the image of him like it's
No, I'm so
amazing.
happy to see that, like
Yeah,
throw it in the air, just and the fierceness that was coming through them, like that's creativity. That's unbridled creativity. And he found
absolutely.
it.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Oh, Nina, time goes by so fast.
No.
Are we gonna, I'm gonna get brave. I'm gonna do this writing prompt with you. I don't think I've done this one. I've done a couple of your writing prompts, but are we doing small and crappy?
Yeah, do you want
We
to?
are. Yeah. Yeah,
Before
let's do it.
you did it really well.
All right. Let's see what
All
comes
right.
out today. So tell us what to do, Nina. And then everybody, you can, I'm gonna edit. I'm just gonna, we'll edit this out, but for you guys, stop the video for a minute. Time yourselves for how long, Nina?
2 to 5 minutes,
Okay.
two to
Cool.
four. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And I will preface this with, if you have a lot of perfectionism around art or life or in general, this exercise will push your buttons and you'll like hate me for it. But that's good, because if you keep practicing, your perfectionism will start getting less and less, and it won't control your life as much. So I swear, like if you repeat this, it will help you. And that's why I also say don't go beyond 4 minutes, because that can really ruffle feathers. So all you're going to do, Yvonne, is write as badly as possible, like not only as badly as possible, but make it atrocious, bad grammar, misspelling, say words that you aren't supposed to say, swear if you want, all like just as crappy. Like if someone reads it, they're going to go, that's the worst writing I've ever written or heard, or the most boring, or the like, because like don't expect yourself to make it bad either. Like that's a paradox. Like you're not trying to make it bad. You're just
Okay.
love
Allowing. Just
allowing.
allowing it to be bad, not trying to be bad. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay. Why don't you go for 2 minutes, Yvonne?
Okay.
All right.
All
Have
right.
fun. You
Thanks. Eek.
can
Big
do
old
it.
blank sheet of paper here.
Pen moving.
And
Uh,
sorry, what did you say to keep the pen moving? Is that what you said?
the pen moving. Don't stop. Just
Okay. All right.
it's not thinking. You're not
Okay.
thinking. Yeah.
Okay. Is the
Okay.
timer going?
Do you want me to time you?
Time me.
Okay.
I'll lose
Okay.
it.
All right.
Okay.
And go. All right. Wrap it up. Good job, Yvonne. You don't
It
know what
it
you wrote.
isn't it is indeed small and crappy, for sure.
Awesome. Would you
Nothing.
like would you like to read any of what you just wrote? And I will say also, it's really good to circle what you like immediately before your inner critic starts jumping in. Like circle a sentence that was like, oh, how'd that come out here? Like just train your mind to look for what you love instead of what you did wrong. So you could even circle something and then just read that sentence to us,
All
whatever you want.
right. That's very short, so I'll just go ahead and read the whole thing. You get
Okay.
the progression of what happened here. All right. Small and crappy. Writing, thinking, don't stop, keep going. Fish and clouds and coffee. What the heck? Where'd that come from? I love Nina. She makes me laugh. I want to be friends. I'm so happy to have met her. So excited to be doing this summit with her, feeling grateful.
Oh,
That's all I got.
thank you. And I love the fish coffee.
Fish and clouds and coffee.
Right. Like what a great image. Fish and clouds and coffee. Like that's, to me, like that's the start of a whole Starbucks company or something. I don't, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
from that kind of brain comes genius. And thank you for sharing your genius with us, Yvonne, and
Thank you. Thank
for
you. That
going.
is the part I circled, was the fish and clouds and coffee, because it was fairly random. So yeah,
Awesome. Great.
yeah.
Good. Yeah.
Nina, this has been amazing. I had so many questions for you. We didn't hit any of them, and just it's just always a pleasure to talk to you. So, is there anything coming up for you that you're excited about? And
I actually rarely teach writing from the top of your head, the 6 week course live anymore because I have a membership, a monthly membership. I have other one-to-one coaching clients that I'm working with. But I love teaching writing from the top of your head. Like it's a course that kind of came through me that I feel like opens up writers and artists in the same way that I went through this opening up process.
yeah,
It also teaches creativity coaching tools for resilience. But I'm actually doing a 6 week course in June, and I think it starts on June 9th.
very
Yeah,
exciting. Very
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
How can people stay in touch with you after today? I mean, we can let them know right now, too.
Yeah. You can go to my website, www.writingfromthetopofyourhead.com. And there's a contact sheet there. There's also, you can sign up for a call, a free call, and we can just talk about your creativity. And you can definitely find me there, Instagram, Facebook, all the places,
All the
LinkedIn.
places. Wait a minute. Who did I just see come
I
into
know
that?
he's been sneaking in, and I wonder if people are like, what has she got
I
there?
think you need to introduce us.
This is
Who's that?
Charlie. Charlie, just a
Hi,
plain
Charlie.
name, but he has been with us this whole interview, Yvonne, and I did share him with Yvonne earlier, but he is very cool. So
That's
nice to meet everyone, he says.
Hi, Charlie. So I just have to point people back to your Instagram, and I wasn't sure if Nina was going to be on camera with us today, or if it was actually going to be Charlie.
We talked
Well,
about that.
that
Like
was
Charlie could just be
yeah.
the uh, but my Instagram, yeah, you could tell that story real quick.
Yeah, I just remember scrolling through your Instagram feed one day and seeing you, actually not seeing you because you were camera shy, and all I saw were these two puppets, and you were hidden down below, and you had like, what was it, 7 minutes worth of like a shark talking to
Dinosaur.
a dinosaur, and it was hilarious. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
Go check
So
that out, people. When did you post that? I'm trying to remember. It was months
kind of
ago.
months, yeah. But it's
Yeah.
all about being visible and being afraid and taking small steps to becoming more of who you are in the world. And I feel like that is a really important thing. And
It is. It's those baby steps that build up confidence, right? It's
yeah,
like I was, I had been afraid to speak publicly without a script, without a theater, without a play in my hand or something like that. And it's been little bits of doing the podcast and then jumping into Clubhouse and then learning to write a speech and practicing that and having and all the stuff is like gradually built my confidence to be able to do what I'm doing now, and it's so, and I'm having so much fun with it. And
and
like
you're so good at it.
3 years,
Yeah,
thank you, 3 years ago,
yeah,
this would I would have been like, no. What are you
yeah,
talking about? And now I'm
yeah.
just having so much fun doing this. So it
And
is
they,
just
yeah,
little baby steps, right?
it's
Little,
all
like, dip
about
your
that.
toe, get comfortable, try again, try again.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I that's how I live. So
love it.
totally agree. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much again, Nina. I just
Well,
am
thank you. It was fun.
always love talking to you.
Yeah, I feel like we could talk for like many hours, but we won't inflict that on people nor more monkeys or anything. But it is an extreme pleasure. Thank you so much. And thank your audience for
Yeah.
being
Thank you
here.
guys. All right. Mwah. Bye, guys.